Dear students, today we will discuss about kingdom Plantae. Before this, we have discussed about the three main kingdoms, kingdom Monera, Protista, Fungi. And now we will discuss about kingdom Plantae, means this kingdom which includes all kinds of plants that exist in this universe. Okay, what are the characteristics of kingdom Plantae? This kingdom includes plants which contain chlorophyll. That is chlorophyll. What is chlorophyll? That is the green pigment. When this green pigment is present in such type of organisms, what happens? They can prepare their own food with the help of sunlight. So plants are the organisms that contain chlorophyll and can prepare their own food. Plants are multicellular, means they are made up of more cells, more than 2 or 3 cells. They are autotrophic. Auto means self and trophic means nutrition or food, means that they can prepare their own food. Plants can prepare their own food. What are examples of kingdom Plantae? We will discuss mosses and liverworts, ferns and seed bearing plants. We will discuss these main plants in detail. Now we will discuss the first example of kingdom Plantae, that is mosses and liverworts. What are the characteristics of mosses? They grow best in moist and shady places. Such type of plants, they are the small plants. They mostly grow in the places where there is much moisture or humidity, or there is the place is wetty, so they can grow best in such places, and dark or shady places. Now they are small flowerless green plants which do not have roots and shoots. Now they are small flowerless green plants, means their plants do not contain any flower part, or they do not contain flower. So they are flowerless green plants, and they lack, means they do not have roots and shoots. They are without roots and shoots. They have stem and leaves. They do not have roots and shoots, but they have stem and leaves. They appear like green carpet. So means when there is a very large number of mosses placed in one area, or they grow in one area, so they look like green carpet. They have tiny hair which hold the moss down in the ground. I told you that they do not have roots. So if they are not having roots, so how they are embedded, or how they occur on the ground? So that is, they have tiny hair which hold the moss down in the ground. So they have no proper roots, but they do have tiny hair. There are tiny pear-shaped capsules on the stalk above the leaves. Inside capsules, spores are present, which when fall on the ground produce a new moss plant. Now I will explain this point. This point is basically, this point is not explaining the structure of the moss, but it is explaining just the small part of the moss. If we take a small part of the moss and we look under the microscope, so it appears like this diagram. So they are tiny pear-shaped capsules on the stalk above the leaves. If we look in the microscope, so the capsule appears like that. You can see there are tiny pear-shaped capsules. Tiny pear-shaped, this is tiny pear-shaped capsules. When we see in the microscope, the diagram appears like this. There are tiny pear-shaped capsule. This is the capsule which is above the stalk. This is stalk. Now these capsules are above the stalk, above the on the stalk, above the leaves, and the stalk is in between the leaves and capsule, so it is above the leaves. Inside capsule there are pores which when fall on the ground produce a new moss plant. Now you can see there are spores inside the capsule. When this capsule, they release the spores, these spores, when they fall onto the ground, so what happened? A new moss plant can be produced. Now you can see this hair. These hair are basically the rhizoids. They are called rhizoids. These are its leaves, stalk, spores and capsule. Okay students, we discussed about mosses. Now we discussed about the second example of kingdom Plantae, that is ferns. Now what are the characteristics of ferns? These are the plants that grow in damp and shady places. Damp means wet or the place which has a lot of moisture or humidity, so they can better grow in damp, and shady places means dark places. They have tiny small tubes inside their stem and leaves. Ferns have tiny small tubes inside their stem and leaves. You can see this is the leaf. You can see the tubes, tiny tubes that are present on the leaf as well as stem also. What is the function of these tubes? Tubes carry food and water from one part of the body to another. As these tubes are present on the leaves also and on the stem also, so the leaves, the function of the leaves is that it carries water and food to the lower parts of the body, and the function of the stem tubes is to carry water and food from lower parts of the body to the upper parts of the body of the plant. The leaves of ferns are called fronds. This whole leaf is known as fronds. The main body of the leaf is known as fronds. Spores are present on underside of leaflets in special pods, pouch-like structure called sporangia. Now spores are present on underside of leaflets. These are leaflets. You can see these outside projections. These are known as leaflets. Now where sporangia is present, you can see these circular small projections. This is known as sporangia. Inside these sporangia are present spores. So spores are present on underside. Now what is meant by underside means these spores or sporangia are not present on the upper part of the layer of the leaf, but if you see the downward part of the leaf, they are present over there, or you can say this is the back side of the leaf. So spores are present on underside of leaflets in special pods, that is pouch-like structure called sporangia. Each sporangia, when splits, releases spores which when fall on ground produces new formed plant. Now this sporangia, when they split, means when they divide or when it bursts, so what happened? It releases spores. When these spores fell on the ground, so what happened? A new fern plant can be produced. Okay students, we discussed about mosses, liverworts and ferns. Now the third main plants that exist in kingdom Plantae include seed-bearing plants. Now what are seed-bearing plants? These are those plants which have seeds inside or outside the plant body. These seed-bearing plants, they are divided into two main kinds. They are known as, first is known as gymnosperms, the second is known as angiosperms. First of all, we will discuss about gymnosperms. The word gymno means naked or visible. Now these are the seeds that develop outside the plant. How they are developed outside the plant means that you may have seen the plants, the very large plant that has such cones. These are basically the larger seeds that develop outside the plant, means they are not embedded inside the ground or they are not embedded inside the ori of the plant. This is basically the seed you can see outside with your naked eye, or that is visible to you people. So they are known as gymnosperms. What are characteristics of such plants? They are non-flowering plants, means such plants they do not develop any kind of flowers. They are non-flowering plants, but they do have well-developed roots, stems and leaves. These are very large type of plants. It is somewhat, you can also check in your books that they have proper stem, proper leaves and proper roots. And they have very large seeds. You can see such type of cones are present in these plants. They have needle-like leaves. They have needle-like leaves. Okay, so they have seeds. They have this, their seeds are in the form of cones. You can see that from the diagram. Okay, so what are the basic examples of these gymnosperms? That is cycas and pinus. These main trees or plants, they are included in gymnosperms. On the other side are angiosperms. The word angio means enclosed or invisible, means their seeds are not visible to us. They are enclosed in an ovary, or they are, you can say, they are the seeds, they exist inside the ground under the soil. So seeds that are enclosed in ovary, or we cannot see through our naked eye. What are characteristics of these plants? They are flowering plants. Any of the plants which are included in angiosperms, they must contain flower, or they are known as flowering plants. They have well developed roots, stem and leaves. Of course, as they are large plants and they are flowering plants, so of course they must have roots, stem and leaves. Now these angiosperms, they are further classified into two main types. That is monocotyledons and dicotyledons. We will discuss in detail that what are monocotyledons and what are dicotyledons. Monocotyledons and dicotyledons. We studied about angiosperms that were divided into two other kinds known as monocotyledons and dicotyledons. Now what are its characteristics? First of all, we will discuss monocotyledons and then we will discuss dicotyledons. They are almost opposite to each other. What are its characteristics? First of all, what the word mono means. Mono means one, cotyledon means one, the seed which can not be divided into two. That is that is straight away one seed, and that cannot be divided into two halves. Now one seed leaf. What is meant by one seed leaf? You can see this is the seed. It has this green part. When we see the seed in its early stage, it has this green seed part. This seed leaf or green part, they have only one this seed leaf or green part. Monocotyledons have only one seed leaf. That is what is meant by this. Seed cannot be divided into two. You can see it. This is just a single seed and it is having one single seed leaf, means this seed cannot be divided into two halves. What type of leaves are there in monocotyledons? Monocotyledons have leaves. The leaves have veins parallel to each other. They have elongated leaves. This is the leaf and you can see these veins which are straight away parallel, that is in front of each other. They are parallel to each other. Then their third property is floral, that is the flowering part. Floral means the flowering part are arranged in groups or three in number. Means when these monocotyledon plants, if they are having flowers, so that will be three in number, or their flowering part will be three in number, or they can also be arranged in many group form. They have fibrous root system. Fibrous root system means the roots have branches. The roots are not simple, they have very dense roots and they have very much branches. So this is known as fibrous root system. The root system is very complex or very dense, and they are very large and they are very large roots and they can absorb many of the nutrients from the soil. Example is rice and wheat. Now you can see that the seed of the rice or wheat, you cannot divide them into two halves. That is why they are known as monocotyledons. Now we'll discuss about dicotyledons. The word di means two. So they have two seed leaves. You can see the seed can be divided into two halves. This colored part is basically, this is green part. This is two seed leaf or two cotyledons. That is, the seed can be divided into two halves. Seed can be divided into two halves. Now these tricotyledons, they have leaves, and their leaves have veins in branched network. You can see the leaves, they have branched network or branched veins. Third part or third characteristic of dicotyledons is floral parts are arranged in groups or 5 in numbers. So you can see they are 5 in numbers, or they can also be arranged in group form. They have taproot system. Taproot system means they have very simple type of roots. That is, their roots are not dense and they are not very much dense, or they are not very long. They are limited to the very little part of the ground, and they absorb water according to their need as compared to these roots. These are more dense and they are less dense. What are examples of dicotyledons? That is peas and beans. Now you can from the example you can see that beans and peas, they can be divided into, their seed can be divided into two halves. Dear students, your homework for today is make a list of different plants as monocotyledons and dicotyledons. You can list different plants and then you can place which type of plants are monocotyledons. You can find out different examples of your choice, and then you just place it in monocotyledons and dicotyledons. Thank you.